thing. You weren't born to be average. There's something deep inside you that knows average was never your destiny. You can feel it thing. Even when you try to shrink yourself to fit into rooms where people are too small-minded to see your potential, something inside you resists. You were created with a fire, a light thing, a force that refuses to settle. And every time you try to ignore that calling, you feel a tug at your soul like a storm waiting to be unleashed. From the moment you entered this world, you carried more than just your name. You carried purpose. You were born with fingerprints that no one else has, a voice no one else can speak with, a gift no one else can duplicate. And yet, society has trained you to think that blending in is safer, that if you just follow the crowd, keep your head down, stay quiet, you'll be okay. But let me tell you something, okay is not enough when you were born for extraordinary. There's a difference between living and merely existing. Some people wake up just to repeat yesterday, trapped in routines they never questioned. But you've got something more inside. You dream bigger, you feel deeper, you think higher. That's not a coincidence. That's not just personality, that's divine design. And trying to hide that brilliance just to be accepted. That's like putting a lion in a cage and calling it a house pet. You weren't born to play small. You weren't born to live paycheck to paycheck, waiting for the weekend to feel alive. That's not life. That's survival thing. And you weren't made just to survive. You were made to thrive, to build, to lead, to create. You've got ideas that could change the world. You've got talent the world hasn't even seen yet because you've been too busy doubting yourself instead of developing yourself. Average doesn't dream past limits. Average doesn't take risks. Average doesn't step into rooms uninvited and make space at the table. But greatness does, and you carry that greatness in your bones. It's in your stare. It's in your heartbeat. It's in the way you've survived storms that would have broken weaker people. Don't ever forget, you are walking proof that something greater lives within you. When you walk into a room, you weren't meant to disappear. You were meant to shift the atmosphere. You were meant to speak life into the silence, to lead when no one else would, to push forward when everyone else backed down. And you don't need a title, a degree, or permission to do that. All you need is a decision that average is no longer an option. You've got too much history behind you and too much future in front of you to settle right here in the middle. Think about the people who came before you, the sacrifices they made, the odds they defied just so you could have this moment. They didn't do all that for you to live small. Every breath you take is borrowed strength from generations who refused to quit. So now it's your turn to honor that by standing tall, walking bold, and living wide. Don't wait for someone to notice your worth. Don't wait for someone to invite you into greatness. It's already yours. It's already inside of you. The only question now is, will you step into it or will you settle for average? Winning is a personal responsibility. No one's going to hand you the trophy just because you showed up. Life doesn't reward potential. It rewards execution. You can have all the dreams, the plans, the talent in the world, but until you step up, take full responsibility, and move with ownership, you're just hoping, and hope without hustle is empty. If you want to win, you've got to claim that win before the world even sees it coming. You see, too many people are waiting for permission, for someone to tell them, now it's your time. But your time is when you decide it is. Winning doesn't come from approval. It comes from responsibility. From that moment when you say, I'm done blaming the system. I'm done blaming my parents, my past, the economy, the algorithm. It comes the second you look in the mirror and say, it's on me now. It's not your mentor's job to keep you motivated. It's not your family's job to support every decision. It's not your boss's job to see your worth. That's your job. That's what champions do. They carry their own weight. They wake themselves up. They push through when nobody's watching. They don't need applause. They need results. They're not chasing validation. They're chasing progress. The truth is, if you don't take responsibility for your own success, someone else will take control of your life. They use you to build their dream while yours dies in silence. And that's the cost of waiting. That's the price of playing the victim. Life won't slow down to make space for your excuses. It will pass you by until you decide to take the wheel. Winners understand that the world owes them nothing, and that's what makes them powerful. Because once you stop waiting for favors, you stop being fragile. You stop being passive. You start building momentum, brick by brick, habit by habit, knowing that every small effort adds up to something massive, something you earned, not something you were given. Responsibility means waking up and doing the work whether you feel like it or not. It means reading the books, making the calls, showing up early, staying late. Not for applause, not for clout, but because you said you would. That's where real strength lies, in discipline and commitment, in staying true to your word even when nobody's looking. It's easy to blame. It's easy to point fingers and say, if only I had more support, more money, more opportunities. But winners don't wait for the perfect conditions. They create them. They don't wait for the door to open. They kick it down. And they do it all with one mindset. If I don't do this, no one will do it for me. Because once you realize that winning is not just a possibility, but a responsibility, your entire energy shifts. You don't hope anymore. You expect. You move different. You talk different. You walk into every room knowing you belong because you've done the work. Not because you were lucky, but because you were ready.